All right. Well, let me just say on behalf of my colleagues and the board, welcome and thank you all for joining us at Mystic Live. And I'm just going to share that I am constantly amazed by this watershed and this growing community of people who are caring for this land and the water and the health of everybody in it. And so tonight we're going to be highlighting some of the efforts that some of you are engaged with. Some of you are just incredible champions of this watershed, and also talk some about some of these collective larger projects that you're all engaged with as a part of this organization that staff might be moving forward. And to begin, as we are always tempted to do, I'm going to link this to river herring, which travel from the harbor all the way up into Woburn and link us in that way. I'll just say that 2021 was unique in another way, besides the amount of rain we got. This is the first year ever that the Division of Marine Fisheries, the state agency, came and scooped up 1,000 river herring from our watershed and brought them to another watershed, the Ipswich River watershed, to help jumpstart what has been a migration that's really been a laggard. It's really, there's only a few fish that run each year in the Ipswich. And there's something so remarkable about the fact that this urbanized watershed has a healthy enough river run to be used as a source of fish for another watershed that is far less developed. And in some ways, there's something about the health, about the status of this watershed, where we are contributing to the healing of another watershed further up the coast, which is really a signal that our river herring run really is a vibrant asset and gives us hope for even further development and recovery of our river herring run. And it's good to note that river herring is a link to our past as well, that as much as we celebrate ourselves as, and many of you, as very skilled fish counters and monitors, you could argue that the most skilled fish monitors and stewards were the indigenous people who lived here before we arrived here, the Massachusetts tribe and the Pawtucket tribe. And I think what we believe is that these indigenous people truly understood the importance of the herring lifestyle, of the herring life cycle, what the surrounding lands and the estuaries contributed to that, and the link it carried to the health of the environment and our own well-being. So I'm preaching to the choir a little bit, and I recognize that many of you, if not all of you, are already engaged in efforts to steward this land and this community. But I want to just honor the fact that we are on Massachusetts and Pawtucket land while we're doing this work, and that we're continuing a tradition of stewarding, and many of you are involved in that. Hopefully we've seen many of you out at some great events that we've had this October. I'll highlight that we just this past weekend, we finished an open house at the Little Mystic Channel in Charlestown. We've been doing an establishment of a meadow at Blessing of the Bay Park in Somerville. We had our River Champions breakfast on the Malden River, highlighting the work of the Friends of the Malden River and the Malden Works Project and the work that Marcia Manong is doing, and this remarkable poetry that Terry Carter shared that morning, excuse me. And we did some pumpkin carving as part of the Latino Hispanic Heritage Month. And we've done some tree planting at Riverview in Everett. So we have a lot going on, and you might say, oh, I was there for that. Or maybe you found yourself saying, I can't believe I missed all this. And the good news is there are many more opportunities for you to get involved, including this weekend, where my colleague Daria Clark will be out organizing volunteers to touch up the very mural we were just discussing a few moments ago at the Mystic Lakes Dam. So between Sunday 10 and 4 and Monday between 10 and 4, Daria is looking for volunteers to help do that painting. No special skills or talents are required. If you can hold a paintbrush, you will make a valued contribution. So with that, we'd love to get into the program. Tonight, we're going to get a chance to meet and vote on the new slate of board members, hear about the financial health of the organization, and recognize many of you as phenomenal volunteers and members of this community. So to start out this program, and it is a brief program, we have a short video that highlights some of the successes that MyRWA has had, thanks to you. Okay.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Nasser Brahim, Vice President of the Mystic River Watershed Association Board. I'm also a Senior Climate Resiliency Specialist at Woods Hole Group, and I spend all day working with communities to plan for and adapt to future impacts of climate change. And I saw what MyRWA was doing, establishing the Resilient Mystic Collaborative to bring communities and other partners to the table to develop watershed approaches to climate adaptation. And I said, I want to be a part of that. How can I help? And that's why I decided to join the board and contribute what I can to MyRWA's growing climate resiliency work. And all of you have made that kind of commitment to MyRWA, including my fellow board members. So before I start, I want our current board members all to unmute and give a shout out, make some noise, say hello.
Hey.
Okay, Nasser. Go MyRWA.
Hello.
Wonderful.
Great, thank you
Go
guys.
MyRWA.
In an earlier meeting, the current MyRWA board members voted to put forward a slate of 5 board members. Of the 5 individuals nominated, 2 have previously served on the board and 3 are new to that experience. Short bios of the 7 nominees can be found on MyRWA's website, but let me briefly introduce them now in alphabetical order. First is Terry E. Carter. Terry is a seasoned DEI consultant who also writes and advises on specialized messaging for educational institutions, small businesses, nonprofits, and individual clients in the areas of content development for web marketing, collateral, academic editing, book development, and public policy. He currently manages the day-to-day operations of the Elder Services Program at the historic West Medford Community Center, Inc., a neighborhood-based organization in one of Massachusetts' oldest Black communities. He's also a classical trained poet, and he has authored and published 5 books of poetry. He became the city of Medford's inaugural poet laureate in July of 2021 and will serve in that office until 2023. The second nominee is Barbara Kesner-Landau. This will be the second term for Barbara. And in her role at MyRWA, she's already helped with updating contracting templates. She's one of our resident lawyer board members. So we could find all kinds of fun uses for her expertise. She's helped look at climate resiliency regulations, helped look at the employee manual and helping update that, as well as other policies that the governance committee puts together, including looking at things, existing policies from an equity lens. She's an attorney with Noble Wickersham and Hart, where she specializes in environmental and land use law and design and construction law. And Barbara assists municipalities, property owners, and nonprofit organizations with environmental planning and compliance, including climate resilience, brownfields cleanup and redevelopment, stormwater management, and wetlands compliance. Our third is Urga Pierrette. Urga is a licensed clinical social worker who's passionate about education and social justice. Urga is a co-convener for Malden Community Organizing for Racial Equity, Malden Core, co-chair of the Malden Cultural Council, MVOC Advisory Board member, and serves on the executive board of the Mystic Valley Area Branch NAACP as chair of the Environmental Justice Committee and is a member of the steering committee for Malden Reads. She earned a Bachelor of Social Work from Salem State University, where she became the first Black woman student trustee and co-founded the Multicultural Students Association. She holds a Master of Social Work from Simmons University and is a licensed school adjustment counselor. Our fourth is Julie Ng Stern. She is a huge fan of the natural world since childhood, and she still has the rock collections she started in kindergarten. She's a Master of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, licensed by the Board of Medicine in Massachusetts, and also nationally certified for over 15 years. Since 2007, she has been a part of Global Alternative Healthcare Project and Global HealthWorks Foundation, and has volunteered weeks of time every year in Indonesia, Nepal, Navajo Nation in Arizona, and Guatemala. She's a dedicated volunteer for MyRWA, including counting herring, building tree swallow birdhouses, painting the mural at the Medford Boat Club parking lot, collecting local heat map data, helping with trivia contests, and representing MyRWA at Patagonia and other local events. Our fifth is Carl Tuet, second term for him also at MyRWA. And during the time that he's been on the board, he has doubled the amount raised through the annual Herring Run and Paddle, which is our biggest and most important annual fundraising event. Carl has 30 years of experience dedicated to the environmental field, including brokering and underwriting environmental liability insurance, environmental due diligence, consulting, and environmental risk liability transfer associated with brownfield real estate transactions. Currently, Carl is a principal at the environmental insurance brokerage firm of Twin Elms, LLC, where he structures and places environmental insurance policies for a variety of complex real estate transactions, remediation projects, brownfield redevelopment, and M&A mergers and acquisition deals throughout the United States and Canada. So at this time, I would like to call on all members to vote on this slate of candidates via the poll that will be on your screen shortly. And as a reminder, a member is defined as anyone who has donated or volunteered in the last year. So please vote yes, no, or abstain. I'm calling on all members to vote on this slate of candidates: Terry E. Carter, Barbara Kesner Landau, Urga Pierrette, Julie Ingstern, and Carl Tuet.
Great. I'm about to end the poll, so hopefully it looks like most people have voted, but one last chance.
All right. Well, that's fairly definitive. I would like to formally welcome Barbara and Carl back to the board and give a warm welcome to our new board members, Terry, Urga, and Julie. Not just new board members, though, that we are welcoming today. We also have new staff that we would very much like now to introduce. Via video.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Provo. I'm currently the office manager with the Mystic River Watershed Association. I have been with this amazing organization for 15 years this month. This organization has become my second family. I've learned so much from my incredibly smart, funny, creative, innovative colleagues. So it's bittersweet to announce that I will be retiring at the end of this year. But I plan to stay connected, and as you will see, I'm leaving you in wonderful hands. So thank you for being a part of this association.
Hi, I'm Daria, the engagement manager at MyRWA. My goal is to create opportunities for people to make meaningful connections to the watershed. Together, we can make the Mystic River a place for all to enjoy for many generations.
What's up, Daria? What you doing out here?
Just chatting about what I'm excited to do at MyRWA.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I guess it's my turn, right?
Yep.
How you guys doing? My name is Elo Danius. I'm the development manager here at the Mystic River Watershed Association. My goal is simple. I just want to connect with a lot of corporations, a lot of community members, and a lot of volunteers, and bring new ideas to what we're doing originally. Or I like shaking stuff up. A little change is not bad. And guess what? Oh shoot, Shushan! What up, man? Oh no, we're good.
Hey, I'm Sushant. I'm the Urban Waters Ambassador at the Mystic River Watershed Association. My role at MyRWA is to identify, build, and maintain relationship with federal, municipal partners and communities around the Mystic River watershed. One of the other projects I'm involved in is developing a holistic program for managing waste in our watershed.
Well, that's it, folks. We're excited to engage with you guys and look out for our smiling faces soon. But bye.
Well, it's impossible to follow, very hard to follow that video for any number of reasons. We will miss Kim immensely, and we're so excited to welcome these dynamic new staff members to our organization. It's been really gratifying to work with them, even as for the few short months I have so far. So I am Andy Hrsina, and I have the honor of managing a number of programs, including the Baseline Volunteer Water Quality Monitoring Program. And this is the 21st year of our Baseline project. And every month, for those who don't know, dozens of volunteers go out and collect water samples from 11 different water bodies in the watershed. And before honoring a few of those volunteers, I thought I'd just reflect very briefly a moment on why they do this work. Why we do this work. We're excellent at collecting data, but why do we do it? The short answer is we do it to bring about change, and that happens through a variety of channels. First, it brings media attention to the issue of water pollution. This year, for the first time, the three great rivers of Boston Harbor, the Mystic, the Charles, and the Neponset, presented their water quality report cards together, pictured here, based on the report card design developed on the Mystic and now followed by the other two rivers. And our press event at Deer Island with EPA got covered by WBUR and the Boston Globe. And there were TV cameras there, and we told a unified and important story across the region that while the Clean Water Act has been a huge environmental and economic benefit, success story in in the cleanup of Boston Harbor, problems of water quality still remain. The baseline monitoring work also leads to enforcement of environmental laws. So baseline data on bacteria contamination has been part of the case that EPA is used to encourage and even force municipalities to find sources of sewage contamination. Baseline data was used as historical data in the big phosphorus study we did a few years ago, which will lead directly to new regulations demanding improvements in stormwater. And we've used salinity data to chronicle and demonstrate the negative impact of road salt on rivers and streams. And we've used dissolved oxygen and other data in habitat assessments and ecological restoration projects. So though we thank everyone involved in this program equally, we also have a tradition of calling out volunteers who reach 5-year milestones and multiples of 5 years. So this year we have several of these people meeting these milestones. So first up, folks celebrating 5-year and 10-year commitments. So every month for 5 or 10 years, they've been willing to get up and go out and get water quality samples for us. Katie Moore had left the watershed and came back and joined the program again. Karen Buck and Jack Boismans have been with our Lower Mystic Baseline program really since that program began 10 years ago. And both Katie and Kimmy Sheridan play an absolutely essential role as substitutes. So we have a team of folks who go out, and then sometimes people can't go out, and it's important that we not miss a beat and have folks who are willing to be substitutes. So thank you to them. And then finally, we have people celebrating 10th and 20th anniversaries. 15th. I'd lose track, and believe it or not, 20-year anniversaries with our program. So Bob Nippon has been a loyal member of the crew that monitors Alewife Brook for all these years. And Tracy Olson and her family have been monitoring on the Aberjona River for a heroic 20 years. Tracy has served in any number of roles for us, including chair of our policy committee. So I've testified with her at Conservation Commission meetings. And also she handed me bottles of Aberjona River water this morning. So I'll just say, as I do every year, and as I never tire of saying, how grateful I am every time the dozens of volunteers go out, like this morning, and like every month this year, and it goes off without a hitch. You can join me in thanking all these volunteers by chatting comments, and congratulations to these people celebrating milestones. Thank you.
Great job, everyone. Fantastic.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your dedication.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name's Amber Christofferson. I'm the Greenways director. I was just distracted by all the chat. And then I thought, oh, yes, I'm supposed to speak now. I like how lively it is. So I'm going to use this as a quick moment to introduce myself for those of you that don't know me. I have been at MyRWA for a little over 5 years, working on our Greenways program, which has a vision for 25 miles of parks and paths from Mystic Lakes to Boston Harbor. And the way we are working towards that vision is very collaborative. So we partner with agencies, municipalities, community members, and simply couldn't do the work without all of those folks. Tonight, we're giving our Mystic Municipal Award to Ali Akandi with DCR. Ali is, she has about 15 years of work in natural resource management. She worked at the BSC Group for 6 years as an ecologist, and also 8 years at DCR in natural resource management and trail management. And in her most recent role in DCR, she is the ecologist, I believe, working at the state level. So she has quite a wide purview. And she's been engaged with several of our efforts, one being our invasive program, removing bittersweet at McDonald Park. She's been helpful in supporting that volunteer program. And she almost single-handedly, I mean, this was a large partnership to get our Native Meadow project going at Blessing of the Bay in Somerville, but she was the permit guru. She really helped us get through the approval process with Somerville Concom, with Chapter 91, within DCR. There were a lot of pieces for what looks like a simple project. So when you go out there, just know that a lot went into it, and Allie was behind the scenes in most of it. And the meadow is on the side of Blessing of the Bay Park that's opposite end from the boathouse. So it's along Route 28. You can go out there. You can also follow the meadow on Instagram at Blessing Meadows. And we're really excited to see the fruits of our labor coming soon next year and into the future, and hope we can partner on more projects to bring native plants and wildlife to the watershed. So thank you, Allie, and we'll move on to the next one.
Thank you so much, Allie. It's been a joy working with you. All right. So I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Daria Clark. I'm the engagement manager. You may have seen me in the previous video, but I'll describe my position a little bit more. I'm involved in engaging with people in person, both at our volunteer events and other events around the watershed, as well as engaging with folks online through blog posts, our e-newsletter, and social media. So I look forward to meeting you all over the next few months out in the watershed. And right now, I'm going to present our Volunteer of the Year award. So although I haven't been with MyRWA very long, just a few months, I have already been floored by the dedication, energy, and enthusiasm that volunteers put towards improving the Mystic River and our watershed. I'm so impressed by all that you do. Truly, this organization's mission moves forward because of all of you. And I'm glad that, I've gotten to meet so many of you out in the parks, and I hope that I can meet more of you over time. For today, yes, I've been given the hard task of choosing a Volunteer of the Year, which is made so difficult because we have so many amazing volunteers that bring great ideas and energy to our work. My job was made a little easier because this year I was allowed to award 2 co-volunteers of the year. So this year we would like to recognize Iris and Jasmine Zhao as our MyRWA co-volunteers of the year. Iris and Jasmine came to 6 invasive species events this past summer and signed up for even more that had to be canceled due to weather, 4 water chestnut events and 2 bittersweet events. And they're always up for new volunteer opportunities. At these events, they are a huge help to MyRWA staff and are happy to do the less glamorous jobs of standing on shore to receive water chestnut baskets or combing through the bittersweet piles to remove every last berry. I know that I can always rely on them, and they give me great hope for the future of this watershed. So I think Iris and Jasmine are on the call today, and I want to extend a huge personal thank you and virtual elbow bump for being so dedicated to our local river. Please join me in giving a cheer for Iris and Jasmine and sending a word of thanks in the chat. And I'll pass it over to Marion.
Hey, volunteer.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm the watershed educator, Marion Miller. I work with science coordinators, teachers, and students throughout the watershed, connecting them to local STEM learning and linking them to the work of our organization. I say that my role is to help educators and students explore, think, learn, and connect to the river, to the watershed, and to MyRWA. I'm lucky tonight to get to present the Ripple Award to one of the educators that I've worked with for several years. The Ripple Award celebrates an individual whose work with us ripples out and impacts the broader community. The Ripple Award winner this year is Jada Simmons Ononome, 4th grade teacher at George Kavarian School in Everett. So I'm so thrilled to be able to announce this. Jada is a very talented teacher. I'm happy to have met her and had the opportunity to work with her and her students. They have been amazing. The past 2 school years, Jada and her students learned about the Mystic River and the problems of stormwater pollution. They examined storm drains. They thought about infrastructure. They learned about how a stormwater system is different from the sewer system. They brainstormed ideas for pollution in stormwater and designed a different type of storm drain that could reduce pollution entering the river. Then they diagrammed their ideas. They created 3D models. And finally, they shared what they had learned and thought about with others by creating public service announcement messages and talking about their learning with invited guests. Last year, all of this happened over Zoom, which is no small feat. 4th graders over Zoom with a complex project taking multiple days. My hat is off to you, Jada, for making that happen. It was impressive. Next week, Jada and I will be working together again, introducing students to the river, water quality issues related to stormwater, the engineering process, problem solving, and design. There are many challenges facing our watershed and beyond, and I like to think that some of the people who will provide creative solutions to those problems are in 4th grade right now. So thank you, Jada, so much for taking the leap of faith to create and pilot this project with me and continue it into his 3rd year. It has a reach far beyond expectations. Congratulations on this award. Everyone should feel free to congratulate Jada on chat, and I believe that Jada would like to say a few words. So over to
Go, Jada.
Yay!
Woo!
Jada.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marion. It's been an honor and a privilege to work with you. As Marion said, 3 years ago, I was asked by the science director of Everett Public School Districts to partner with the Mystic River Watershed Association. And Mrs. Miller has been phenomenal working with her. I did not know what to expect. I did not know what the students were going to be capable of. But if you put a challenge in front of a child, they are going to accomplish all their goals. And my philosophy is knowledge is power. And when we provide students with a high quality education, we place them on the road to success. And this project has placed these students on the road to success by them connecting with the community and realizing that what they do today has a major effect for their future. And I am honored to be able to work with the Mystic River Association and Ms. Miller. Thank you so much for the award.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Hooray! Woohoo!
Thank you.
Wow, wonderful.
Hello, everyone, and shout out to Jada for that wonderful award. My name is Charles Hawley, and I serve on the board as the treasurer. And I was on the slate last year, so I look forward to welcoming and working with all of the new slate that came in, as well as the current board. So my task here is, you've heard all about what MyRWA has done over the last year and the great accomplishment. So my task here is to help you understand how that translates financially. So I promise not to bore you, just run you through a couple of slides and give you some good understanding of where we are. This slide that you see here shows what our 2020 audit represented, which was just over $2.5 million in revenue and $1.7 million of expenses. This was the largest year on record for MyRWA, so congratulations once again. This reflected new capacity of climate resiliency and investments in capital projects on the greenways and water quality. The difference between these two numbers really reflects the work that's going to happen in the current year, 2021. Next slide, please. This slide here represents our revenue growth. As you can see from 2013 through 2021, what you're seeing is that we're expecting to reach $3.2 million through 2021, which is December 2021 that's coming up. So our annual audits show careful management and the organization moving in the right direction for introducing new programming and what we have going on. The additional funding that you'll see year over year helps introduce new things, new projects such as 100 plus new trenches along the watershed and some new capacity as it relates to staff. And with that, I will say, I hope all of you have seen what we've done, heard about the accomplishments, and taken this quick snapshot of our financial picture, and you will join us in reaching our goal through the end of the year by donating. And this is where you can donate online. So thank you very much for your time, and I will pass it on.
That's great. Charles, thank you so much for that synopsis of our financial health. And, we've come near the close. This is a brief program, we promised. And before I get into sort of a few ending thoughts and asking for some thoughts from you, I do want to highlight that earlier in the program, we recognized our 5, 10, 15, and 20-year volunteers. And we just want to highlight one volunteer may not have gotten a full mention there, and that's MyRWA Ashley, who has been volunteering doing water quality sampling for a decade now, and both on the Aberjona River, but of course I've seen her around Horn Pond, which I know she cares deeply about. So MyRWA, thank you so much for the work that you're doing. And I also want to thank my colleague, Shelley Liebetrue, who put together this evening's program, and the number of other staff who contributed their ideas in writing and images to make this come alive for all of you. So I have just a couple parting thoughts, and then I'd love to get some thoughts back from you. The final thought I want to share, and this is something we've been talking about internally at the Mystic River Watershed Association, is this recognition that almost as much now as ever, this watershed is in a moment of change. And this is especially true if you look downstream in the lower Mystic, where all kinds of economic pressures are coming to the edge of our shores and development is happening at an unbelievable pace. The river is going to be transformed, or the river banks are going to be transformed. And I'll just highlight this opportunity that we have as an organization to influence the outcomes here, to create what we value for resilience, for health, for the natural, for the equitable. And I think my pitch back to all of you is to remind you that we're coming up on our 50th. And we have so much opportunity to live out and create so much good in this work in areas that we haven't previously done. So I think that's my intent in trying to energize you and thank you at the same time, to say we've got big work ahead of us to make sure that this is a healthy watershed. And I'm so grateful. We're so grateful that you're involved in this work, helping us do this work. And so stay involved, stay volunteering. If you can financially support us, that would be wonderful as well.